subject of scrutiny here. I made this meme with everything that's going on right now with North Korea. I thought I'd kind of point out some similarities that I noticed. I'm somewhat of a history buff, but I'll read it to you, what I think Kim Jong-un's going through right now. And I wrote, I just want to be a sovereign nation. I'm one of 3 countries without a centralized bank. I'm the most demonized man in the news, besides Trump and white men. 6 companies own 90% of U.S. media. The USA gave my dad the nuclear technology. Nuclear energy is real, but bombs are a hoax, LOL. So don't worry about nukes. But a false flag is coming soon. It will give the USA semi-justification to invade. Look up Pearl Harbor, 9/11, and the Louisiana. The CIA admits it's done false flags. They also assassinate leaders who disobey. Follow the money to find the truth, always. And I got some other stuff here that I wanted to point out here. And then here's proof of that right here, of the whole, his dad, and we gave him the technology. You can see Senior there with his advisor. They're in North Korea, and there's your boy, old Bubba Clinton. But and I mean, you can see this. I mean, they're everywhere. It's clear as day that they were the ones that did it. They were the ones that, or were the ones that gave them the deal here. And I mean, you can look more into that. I don't want to get too deep into that because I just wanted to look at this. So, okay, here we go. The Event Chronicle. And this is all, you can very much find the proof, but this one article here just super goes into what I'm talking about. It says the Rothschild family is slowly but surely having their central banks established in every country of this world, giving them incredible amount of wealth and power. That's a fact. In the year 2000, there were 7 countries with a Rothschild-owned or controlled central bank. And look at that list. What is number 1? Afghanistan, Iraq, Sudan, Libya, Cuba, North Korea, and Iran. Now, out of those, the only 2 that I know for sure that don't have a central bank still are North Korea and Iran. But this was in 2000. What happened right after 2000? 9/11. And what happened after 9/11? We invaded Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm not sure about Sudan. I don't want to quote anything or something because I didn't look that deep. But I know we went to Iraq and Afghanistan. And I did the correlation in a previous video with the poppy fields and the other reasons that they went. And it says, when these Satanists, when they do things, it's never for just one reason. They have multiple reasons. 9/11 was a gold heist. 9/11 was a false flag for a war they wanted. 9/11 was a ritualistic sacrifice of people that were in the buildings. I mean, it goes on and on. There's several reasons 9/11 happened, but I'm not going to get into 9/11. And it says, it is not a coincidence that these countries, which are listed above, are all still being under attack by the Western media, since one of the main reasons these countries have been under attack in the first place is because they do not have a Rothschild-owned central bank yet. The first step in having a central bank established in a country is to get them to accept an outrageous loans, which puts the country in debt of the central bank and under the control of the Rothschilds. So now you see why Kim Jong-un isn't working with anybody, because he doesn't want the centralized bank. He doesn't want to be under their control. It says if the country does not accept the loan, the leader of this particular country will be assassinated, and a Rothschild-aligned leader will be put into position. And if the assassination does not work, the country will be invaded and have a central bank established with force, all under the name of terrorism. And there, once again, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the boogeymen. It just keeps going. But Rothschild-owned or controlled central banks. It says central banks are illegally created private banks that are owned by the Rothschild banking family. The family has been around for more than 230 years and has slithered its way into each country on this planet, threatened every world leader and their governments and cabinets with physical and economic death and destruction, and then placed their own people in these central banks to control and manage each country's pocketbook. Worse, the Rothschilds also control the machinations of each government at the macro level, not concerning themselves with the daily vicissitudes of our individual personal lives, except when we get too far out of line. Exactly. The only countries left in 2003 without a central bank owned or controlled by the Rothschild family were Sudan, Libya, Cuba, North Korea, and Iran. Now, you see what's going on in Libya and Sudan and Cuba. Well, why do you think they ended the embargo and all that stuff a couple years ago? This is 2003. That's 14 years ago. And it says the tax seller for an inside job to invade Afghanistan and Iraq to then establish a central bank in those countries. And then here, let's check out this link right here real quick. It says case closed. JFK killed after shutting down Rothschild's Federal Reserve. A virtually unknown president decree, Executive Order 11110, was signed with the authority to basically strip the Rothschild Bank of its power to loan money to the United States federal government at interest. With the stroke of a pen, President Kennedy declared that the privately owned Rothschild Federal Reserve Bank would soon be out of business. The Christian Law Fellowship has exhaustively researched this matter through the Federal Register and Library of Congress. We can now safely conclude that this executive order has never been repealed, amended, or superseded by any subsequent executive order. In simple terms, it is still valid. When President John Fitzgerald Kennedy signed the order, it returned to the United States federal government, specifically the Treasury Department, the constitutional power to create and issue currency, money, without going through the privately owned Rothschild Federal Reserve Bank. Remember that. Your money isn't U.S. money, it's Rothschild money. That's why there's all this satanic crap all over it. The Federal Reserve, a myth that all Americans live with the charade known as the Federal Reserve. It comes as a shock to many to discover that it is not an agency of the United States government. Yep. The name Federal Reserve Bank was designed to deceive, and it still does. It is not federal, nor is it owned by the government. It is privately owned. It pays its own postage like any other corporation. Its employees are not in civil service. Its physical property is held under private deeds and is subject to local taxation. Government property, as you know, is not. It is an engine that has created private wealth that is unimaginable, even to the most financially sophisticated. It has enabled an imperial elite to manipulate our economy for its own agenda and enlisted the government itself as its enforcer. It controls the times, dictates business, affects our homes, and practically everything in which we are interested. Yep. And you can look more into that, but I'm going to kind of get away from that. And then I already did this one. I want to go to this one now. See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about when I say disinformation, that kind of stuff. Because when you look for these kinds of things, you can't, when you type in something like Rothschild rules the world or some crap like that, you can't look at like the first 8 things that pop up, because it's always New York Times, CNN, Fox News. I mean, you can't go off this stuff. So I picked up one right here that's trying to debunk it. And it's a meme police. The meme policeman is what it's called. And it says right here, this is the meme they're talking about. It says, welcome to America, where just 6 corporations own 90% of the media. No wonder there has been a virtual Bernie blackout and nonstop Trump coverage. First of all, the Bernie blackout wasn't for Trump coverage, it was for Hillary coverage. That's proven. But really gets my goat right here. And if you know anything about numerology, it says, courtesy of the other 98% with over 33,000 likes and 13,000 shares. Now, that may not seem like a big thing to you, but in numerology, the zeros mean nothing. So that's 33, and that's 13. Now, what number is sacred to Freemasons? Let's have a quick look. Oh, there's 33 degrees of Freemasonry. And the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, and this is it right here, 33, right there in the middle. 32. That's just what degree you are. But it goes up to 33 degrees. So 33,000 likes right there off top. So this is a popular meme repeated over the last several years. Depending on the same meme, its source code is something that's only 5 that supposedly control 90% of the media content. That's stupid. These people can't type. This claim is generally used to create a feeling of paranoia, which gets exploited politically for calls to further regulate media companies. However, when this claim is analyzed, it's dubious at best. Dubious at best. He didn't say it was false, because it's not. Where does this stat come? It's quite all over the place, sometimes even in respected outlets, but its origins are difficult to track down. The most popular claim is this. In 1983, 90% of U.S. media was controlled by 50 companies. Today, 90% is controlled by just 6 companies. And it says, even quoted verbatim on the Wikipedia page about media cross-ownership. And it says right here, blog post is the meme. The people who made the meme. And then it gives you this one right here. This is the meme that they want to show you. I can't zoom in on it. And it says, the illusion of choice. And it says, media has never been more consolidated. 6 media giants now control a staggering 90% of what we read, watch, or listen to. And then here it is in 1985. You can't really see that. 1983, how many dots are each company. And then now we have 6 dots. And yes, Immune went viral in 2001, put out a blog called Frugal Dad. The blog seems well-intentioned, but hardly a reliable source. Who are you to decide who a reliable source is? Posting fake news and right in your first line have a 33 in there. Kiss my ass. Pardon my language. It list some websites on the bottom of the meme, but none of them seem particularly reliable or relevant to the statistic. In your opinion? You shouldn't put in my opinion, because they are. After much searching, it seems the original source of this claim comes from the book The Media Monopoly, and then The Media Monopoly in 2004. He was a fairly respected judge, although clearly left-wing and biased against large corporations. Well, yeah. Similarly slanted. And while he was credible sources for some claims in it, there is no source of footnote given for his claim that the Big Five control the media. The original source still seems to be the Mr. Bagdikin. An informed opinion, perhaps, but not one based on a scholar. An informed opinion, perhaps, but not one based on a scholarly study of how and whom America gets their news from, or other objective means. It's more than 10 years old, and a lot has changed. Yeah, it's gotten worse. And then it says these ones right here. And it says major holdings include NBC, CNBC, MSNBC, Universal, many smaller cable channels, Weather Channel, USA, Bravo, and E. So look, they names the 6 right there. And if you look at all these names right here, they all add up. Think of your favorite channel, and even InfoWars. You gotta remember, the best way to control the opposition is to lead it. So let's look at let's type this in. I'm just kind of curious what it'll say, because I know this guy's a shill. He's an actor. He admits he's an actor. Radio Wikipedia. InfoWars.com. Jones is an American far-right radio. Ooh, right here. Boom. Third largest media. Time Warner. Third largest. HBO, Turner, Warner. It doesn't say that specifically that they own InfoWars, but I know for a fact that they do. I've seen it. I just can't find it right now. Oh, here we go. Both InfoWars website and InfoWars trademark are registered under the company Free Speech Systems LLC. It's registered directly by Alex Jones. The Free Speech LLC ownership connections are shown below. Let's check it out. So, Free Speech LLC from Alex Jones, Prison Planet LLC, InfoWars LLC, Jones Report, Jones Productions LLC. This doesn't tell me that, what I need to see. Well, anyway, I can't do it. I can't, guess I can't find it, but, I mean, you can clearly see that this Rothchild bank thing, and the list of banks now and the list of banks then, and how it just, timing is everything, right? But yeah, it's definitely not what you think it is, but subject to scrutiny. Like, share, subscribe.